Hi, TAKful Creator here. Okay, let's get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice, and mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, guidance, grace, forgiveness, labor. Forgiveness, labor, and then look at the reverse. Justice and grace watch over us and lead us to the reign of God. Ashe. Alright, so we're going to clear this energy because I'm telling you right now, this is already like, what? Repulsive nature. Repulsive, why? Because there's some kind of attraction, some kind of gross attraction. And what is this gross attraction? Like this molester, pedophilia vibe, right? This pedophile rapist vibe. And what is this resulting in? This repulsive behavior from this pedophile rapist or molester is going to result in a pregnancy being aborted. Okay, and I apologize for my voice. Like, always with this I guess my energy just attracts that negativity so that I can transmute it. Understood? Well, I'm the type to talk even if I don't have a voice, so I will be transmuting it. Yes. By attracting even higher vibrational energies to attack what you don't want me to say. Alright? So, before I get into all the other sub cards that are here, let's thank Divine for being here, right? Hi, Divine. Hi. I know my energy is so low. Can you show me no? Thank you. Can you show me yes? Thank you. And that we're on the right track. Always ready for that because we're always on the right track. Okay, so I just appreciate all the light beings, all the ancestors and guides, the extraterrestrial life, the higher vibrational entities that are here for our benevolent and highest means. Okay, I thank you all for being here and show so much appreciation and gratitude in the most humblest and earnest way I possibly can. Okay, so let's get into some emotional cards, right? Because my energy is low. We have to figure out, like, why is this the energy I'm being called to tap into? Angel energy, right? So I'm being called by the angelic realm to, again, transmute. So the stuff that I'm saying casually is actually in effect. Great. Let's see what else. What other kind of energy is present? Being down and sad. Yep, which is literally how I sound and kind of how I feel. But with all this emotional intellectualization, and that could be better put as thinking through my emotions instead of actually feeling them, like seeing where the root causes are and understanding why that happened and how I'm supposed to move through it, what it applies to, what it connects to. That is intellectualizing your emotions, and I tend to do that very often, blame it on the autism. But this down in sadness isn't fully rational or sane, or doesn't appear to come off rational or sane. Why doesn't it appear that to everyone else? As a person, you can sense your own body, you can sense your own patterns, you can remember what's going on with you. But to everyone around you, it's kind of like a new experience each time it's done, because it's a external entity. So whatever behavior that caused, or whatever behavior that's showing in this down or sadness, doesn't seem rational or sane to the people that surround you. But why? It's because it is angel energy. It does not make concrete sense. It does not make it makes ethereal sense, but it does not make material sense, 3D sense. In this world, in the simulation, it's the material world, right? So it doesn't make sense here because the frequency is above what's going on. It's understanding the bigger picture, it's understanding the larger view, the cast that is So like if we were talking about, for example, broken bones, right? And I don't even wish that on my worst enemy. I don't wish that on anyone. I'm not pushing that energy toward anyone. I'm just using it solely as a reference. If someone were to break something, right, and they needed a cast around it in order to preserve whatever part of themselves is in it, right? In order for the healing process to happen, we have to trust that the cast is encompassing or protecting what needs to heal, and whatever is happening that you can't see with your naked eye, whatever is happening inside the cast that you can't take off for whatever period of time, like a cocoon, that transformation, that healing process is undergoing. Now, because I'm using a cast, I'm speaking specifically to healing, because there's so many forms of transformation that can happen, right? Some transformations are high vibrational, some are low vibrational, but they're all necessary. So here we have the transition of the healing process. Something going from broken or strained or stressed to elevated, healed. And what I mean by healed, I mean no longer appearing or feeling broken. And something could actually still be broken and just doesn't have that feeling anymore. And then that could be a part of the healing process too, right? So that's the concrete energy that is here, that is behind confirmation, that's behind the veil of this irrational, down sad energy that is really angelic energy, or this down sad energy that is from someone who naturally holds angelic energy. Now that is compared to a butterfly, right, who has this transformation in a cocoon. Yes, there's a healing process. The healing process is old to new, but it's not, there's nothing beyond that. It's not as grand, right? Because it is like a miraculous thing. But what I mean by grand, it's not as many complex inner details. When you're going through a regular healing process, right, it's normally from time periods that aren't present with you right now, even though all time is present. So let's say you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, right? But you still haven't healed from whatever experiences you've had in your teen years. So now you have all these decades of unhealed issues from a previous timeline, your teenage years. Each decade, with you experiencing these cycles that are showing you how unhealed you are, you're attaching more trauma, you're attaching more experiences that were negative, that hold negative value to you now. So now in your 40s, you're thinking about this unhealed trauma that you have, and it's so encrusted that it seems like we can't tell if it's a cocoon or if it's a cast. So how do we figure out the difference? See where the person's mind is. See how they're interpreting what's going on around them. Because they can be in a cocoon and saying they're just transforming from one person to the next, which means they could have went from an unhealed teenager to a bitter 40-year-old. Now, what does that do? That offered you transformation and a form of healing that you believed was helpful to you, maybe because of the survival techniques which you learned from other people, whatever the case is. But in essence, you're still dealing with the karmic cycles that are even more complex, more detailed, more entangled because of all the time and additives that were on top of that. Now we can ask to see if, all this crusting that you're doing in your 40s, is it cast? Do you see that something was encrusted over because underneath it, a brokenness needed to transform into wholeness. And maybe it's a different wholeness than you had prior to it breaking. But oftentimes when something breaks, things fill it. Right? What does that do but offer more surface area? It offers more material, more more ability to harness or give off energy because you're holding more space, right? So in this breaking process, like muscles, every time your muscle breaks, you have to feed it with protein or other, nutrients in order for it to fill into those gaps. And that's how your muscles get bigger. If you constantly kept ripping it and it just closed back up, it would most likely stay the same size or get smaller because of the wear and tear of whatever, contingent area that, is constantly ripping. So if you want to grow and build, you have to fill in that space. So in that cast, as a 4-year-old going through all this repulsive energy, this down, sad energy confirmation, everyone sees that you're crusted. Are you transitioning from an unhealed person to a bitter person? Or are you transitioning from a broken energy to a whole healed energy? Okay. Now, that's what I'm gauging here. And what I mean by engaging here, because that's just the overall energy. We see that there's a specific story that is a little bit more gruesome that we have to tap into. Let's see what this more gruesome story is, right? And look, just by how the cards are already placed, we have this rational, sane energy over here, this down, sad energy over here. But the sadness is so close to the grounding, right? So the angels are suggesting that this energy that is not fully upright is necessary to catapult you forward, right? It's necessary to get you into this grounding energy. It's necessary for you to see that grounding is important to continue on this track, right? So let's get some under the roses cards, because, and I might even separate this reading into two, with all the explanation being the first and then hopping into the cards being the next one, just so people have the ability to like go in and out of videos or understand different messages in a video without having to like sift through the video to get their particular message. Okay. However I do that, is instructed by the divine. So don't cast or hold judgment. I'm telling you, it's not necessary. Okay, is there any more here? See something about health, something about injury, something about lack of communication and no news. And we're going to keep the no news over here, because in my mind I'm hearing no news sometimes could be better for the situation. Like no bad news is good news type of thing. That's what I'm hearing. So we have no bad news is good news and ask why. And it could be about this lack of communication that's here, right? And here we go with this fiery energy. But that is kind of like meek. It's like I'm fiery one second and the next second I'm docile, because that was just emotional outburst. Like there's no other rhyme or reason for it. So that's what I'm getting here as an energy. But it's coming up in a lack of dialogue or a lack of seeing eye to eye. And we have to understand why. We know the lack of seeing eye to eye could be because people are viewing this down, sad energy as irrational, as insane, right? But in actuality, it's the grounding, angelic energy to let people see how they could potentially show up in the world, or how they are operating, because this is the response from what they're getting. Okay, so we see is a lack of communication. No news is good news, but having no news is still kind of daunting. Why? Because we have this significant young lady who could seem karmic. And I say seem karmic because I feel like these other cards are going to kind of establish more of why this card may need to be in the upright. Because this was the first card to fall down. Right? And the way I saw it was kind of like this, as if it was going to fall in a different direction. But we are meeting it at this point. Okay? So, what's going on here? I have, start off with these. Okay. So, I have, there's someone experiencing hope. They're looking into the stars. They're kind of stargazing. And what I mean by stargazing, not in the most positive sense, where you're outside, you know, appreciating the galaxy. No, like people are stargazing because they are ignoring what's directly in front of their face. They're not seeing how life is showing up to them. Like they're disassociating in a way that's so imaginary. It's like they're looking at trauma and they're like, oh, look at that. What? Like you're looking at PTSD and you're like, oh, familiar. Instead of you're looking at PTSD, that's familiar. Red flag, remove. You know, that's what I'm getting here. They're like this false hope because you see this energy. Here we go with this deception, the snake energy, right? Being all up in being all in the crossroads. Right? So not the decisions that need to be made, but the nitty gritty that hinders you from being able to make a concrete decision. That gray area that seems so gray that you're left in an abyss. Okay. So this significant young lady, right, who's not offering this communication, who's not saying anything, she's removing herself. I could get like, like she may have blocked an energy. Like she may have maybe energetically cloaked herself, or you know, went to a new mind state. Right? It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. Like because her frequency is shifted, other people can't tap into her energy in order to figure out what's going on. Right? So that's what I'm getting. Like she is cloaked up. But it may not be for positive means. Why? Because we have this, you know, imaginary energy. Let's just, is this imaginary energy connected to the significant lady? Okay, so there's more than one party here. How many parties? 1, 2, 2. Okay, so there's 2 parties. My energy is so low. Do you see how slowly this is moving? Like, oh my gosh, like my energy is so low. But I understand it's because this is attached to the energy that is in the reading. Like it's a heaviness. It's a 1 foot and then the other, 1 foot and then the other. It's so labored. That's what I'm getting. Okay. So we have 2 energies here. We have a significant girl who may be on this irrational, sane side, but is seemingly so. And then we can say that this irrational, sane side has to do with everything that's up here on the board. And everything that's down here on the board would be attached to this other energy. Okay? So, rose-colored glasses, where this deceptive energy is not even like deception. It's not like a snake in your ear. Like you can see what's happening for what it is. It's just you're not attributing the right emotions and responses to it. Okay? So in essence, does this energy feel like they're doing everything right? Does this energy feel like they're doing anything right? Okay. But is this energy doing everything right? Okay. Is this energy doing everything right? No. So, is the rose-colored glasses with them? No. Alright. Needed a bit of confirmation there because it's a bit more intricate than I initially thought, right? So that's why it's important to have a clear mind walking into this. And I think that is the energy of this too. They didn't have a clear mind walking into it. They assumed something, and when it didn't match the assumption, they kept on the guise, right? They're just like, well, I don't know how to behave outside of this, so I'm just going to continue to behave like this. And it's like, okay, you just welcomed a karmic cycle. You just welcomed a tower moment. All right, so this energy is doing everything right, toward this new beginning that is deserving. And what I mean deserving, I mean they probably manifested this for themselves. They did the internal work. They removed themselves from certain patterns and cycles. They did the internal work. And this is a test for them to see, did they pass or did they fail? And that's why we get this seemingly irrational, seemingly sane, but this angelic energy here. The angels are saying this is a test. You may feel this way right now, but you know, the news that's here in the upright is a positive sign. So the fact that you're not getting any additional news, you're not getting any additional backlash, you're just dealing with this subtle sadness right now. And I'm getting subtle sadness. This rational, this irrationality and insanity that's here is a little bit more rage-filled and passionate. But because it's tethered to these other energies, it's kind of softened up. Why? Because this energy did everything right toward a new beginning. Did everything right toward a new beginning. The tower moment that was shown here, right, that was displayed, that offered this lack of communication, that offered this removal process, right, was highlighted by the divine in a way that is going to result in this energy receiving so much abundance, so much grace, so much prosperity. Once they understand the emotions, not intellectualize them, but understand the emotions, how they feel, how they show up, and what can be done to flow through them. Allow the emotions to work for you in the highest favor, right? Because here we go with this eternal peace, this social gathering, this happiness, jubilance, this celebration, right? This joy. The recompense for having a right action, right? You do the right thing, you get the right thing. That is what's given by those who understand the assignment. Okay? And so that's what's being given to, and you see this is closer to this angelic energy, which they must return to in order to receive this peace, admiration, celebration, and all of this. They must understand that they did everything that was necessary for the new beginning. To remove themselves from whatever karmic cycle that they may have been a part of for such a long period of time up until this point. Right? And it's going to leave them magnetic and attractive. But we have to understand why this energy even showed up like this. Because there was some hope. And you know, hope is dead. Faith is hope with works. That action, that call to action is what is going to propel that positivity and abundance and grace. But here, hope is dead. It's very simple. It's not dynamic. And you need dynamicism. You need to be dynamic in order for things to expand, especially in this modern day life, okay? So then we have what? We know that there's this nitpicky energy that's between this. How is this person showing up? This person's showing up in written letter. They're showing up about this information prior to. They haven't experienced it in this 3D world, but they've experienced something very similar to it in a 5D experience or in a 5D setting. And so they're using that intuition rising from their subconscious to apply whatever recompense they're applying to the situation, and that is the lack of communication, the no news is good news, I'd rather hear nothing than hear trash type of thing, right? Whereas this energy down here, and we don't know whether or not this energy is masculine. Is this energy masculine? Is this energy feminine? So this energy is showing up in its toxic state, but a toxic balanced state. They're toxically balanced between the feminine and masculine. Now, is this a male? Okay, we're on the right track. Is it a female? Part of the LGBT community? Okay, so we're on the right track that it can be all of those things, but it's not necessarily one group. Okay, this applies to many different types of people. Okay, no worries. But we can solidify it saying that we know for a fact that this energy is toxic in both the feminine and masculine light. Okay, and that's what we can see. The deception and lies have already been unearthed. This nitpicking energy, this oh, please, 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 I'll be good, until I get what I want, and then no longer is good, right? And that only happens when they're running low on their stash, right? There's 23 energy of natural law. Okay, when things run dry, that's when you have to go out. But how is this person going out? They're going out in like a beggar type of way. Not necessarily saying like, I deserve this. This is the energy I put forth in order to receive this. No, they're putting forth like, oh, well, this is feelings. Oh, well, this is what I'm going through. Well, this is what, I want, which is also a feeling. And wants are not aligned with the divine. Desires are aligned with the divine, right? And the divine in a highlight or in a low vibe light, because either way is for your progression. Desires. If you're wanting, that's like hope. Desires, faith. Wanting, hope. Okay, you see the symbolism, you see the correlation there? Wonderful. I won't even explain it, because I understand that you understand. Wonderful. So we have these other two cards of here we go. So then we have another feminine energy here, right? That is loyal to this terrible energy. And I'm not getting that this, when we were talking about the toxic femininity and toxic masculinity encompassing this karmic person, we're not talking about this person. Okay, this we can call it like a third party. And this third party is loyal to this energy that likes to beg and nitpick, offer hope to situations where they are seeing a karmic cycle and they're just sitting in it because they don't know what else to do. Not seeking proper aid, not seeking proper help. The only aid that they're listening to is a karmic older lady. And the reason why I get a karmic older lady is because a mature lady that is so endowed within herself, that is not romantically connected to either party, should not show up in the reverse. Especially if we're talking about loyalty, which is a higher vibrational act when done in the right way or to the right people. Okay, we're seeing that this mature, probably older, like mentor role model is one that is basically feeding this energy with enabling affirmations, saying that, the way you're showing up is the proper way. They're doing something wrong. Don't do anything different. Yeah, this might be a different person showing the same type of behavior, but it's nothing you're doing. It has everything to do with what the other people are doing to you. Everyone's against you. That's what this energy is saying, because they're loyal to however this person feels. But that loyalty is putting them in a karmic light, to where they have to have this night school. They have to have these karmic lessons, these dreams and nightmares to teach them how they're showing up in the world, and that they're not doing things right. They're being tormented. So this karmic is being tormented because they're loyal to this terrible, deceptive, nitpicky, using, lacking action type of energy that's waiting on some formal communication from an energy who is removing themselves so that they can receive the blessings from the angelic realm. right? And is this overall story connected to this initial story that we got over here? All right, so okay, now that we know the baseline, the bones of how the timeline is moving based on certain actions, let's see what certain actions move this timeline. All right, someone being repulsive and gross, right? Or maybe one energy being magnetic and attractive, and the other energy being repulsive and gross. Okay, is there a pregnancy between this down, sad energy and this nitpicky energy? Okay, that was aborted. All right, saving grace, because sis, you do not want to have a baby with this. The joke's on everyone, including you, if you have a baby with this, especially if they are still in their toxic femininity and toxic masculinity. It's like, wow, you could have just picked one, but you chose to pick both. You said you're going to be the balance, but you're going to be the karmic balance. You know, most people who are like, you know, I can be someone's karma, they're still, you know, they're hoping for, or not hoping, see my wording, they're having faith that them being karma for other people is going to have them receive some kind of retribution that's positive, because they're doing the physical work, you know, to be a lesson to someone else. But here, like, bringing a baby into the picture, feeling the baby's energy before it even opens its eyes with this, disgusting. What is it? Hitch. Egan. His name was Egan. He was like, disgusting. Did you hear about this? Yeah, disgusting. And that's what I'm getting here. Did you hear about this with this energy? Disgusting. Did you hear about this? Disgusting. Oh my gosh. And this, you know what it was? And then someone from the background's like, it's disgusting. We get it. Type of thing. Right? Now, why is it disgusting? Because it's not disgusting that it was aborted. Saving grace and the way that the laws are moving. Just imagine what kind of terror that could have happened if this pregnancy went to full term. Oh, okay. So, what, you know, when we talk about pedophiles, molesters, rapists, sometimes it's not in the most aggressive fashion, right? It's people who are overstepping boundaries, in layman's terms. Overstepping boundaries and it causes someone pain. Okay, but this could be sexually. It doesn't have to be like physical, putting your hands on someone like a full-on brawl, and then, you know, you do the deed in a way that leaves the person mangled. No, that's not what I'm getting here. I'm getting like causing subtle injuries, offering a lot of aggression and agitation, a lot of wasted energy, possibly people getting hurt while giving that vocalization, you know. And it's like, this was all unnecessary when Taurus energy, this grounding nature. So I can already see this Taurus is the angelic energy here, right? Is this Taurus this energy? Yep. Okay. So here we go. The Taurus is actually the Taurus's higher self is what is offering the grounding nature to the Taurus's what would be known as like the shadow side. But that shadow side is not really coming out. That shadow sign is being shown that there's a better way, even though it's fighting that shadow side. That's what I'm getting, right? Because the Taurus is only hugging these cards of being sad, but not being irrational or insane. And I have an irrational card, insanity card, confirmation. I have those cards. That didn't come out. So that means that it appears that they're not, even though they are. They're rational. They're sane. It just appears that they're not in the moment. Why? Because there's a copycat energy here. Something to have to do with Labor Day. Look to your dreams. You know, it's just, I have another reading that I had like a few months ago that talked about this. I'm going to add it to this, right? Something about April months, Labor Day, whatever happened during that time frame, being a sacrificial lamb because of somebody who needs to go to the dentist, someone who needs to go to the dentist that also enjoys games. Yeah, you were the sacrificial lamb in that story around September, right? But there was a hearing in court, and that could be spiritual court, where you decided that no more sacrificial lamb. You rather go and stargaze, be chipper, and be happy with them. But that stargazing lacked action. That happiness lacked substance. And so what happened? Now there's an energy being possessive, and there's an energy being a parroter because someone seemed irrational and insane. So they're parroting actions that looked like they were happening, even though they weren't actually happening. Great. So whatever's happening in April is now out without a paddle. Sad face. It ain't happening. Right? What? Did the police get involved? No, but the police were going to get involved if whatever happened escalated any further. So maybe if someone pushed a sexual act any further, or if someone, physically pushed the envelope with whatever quarrel or fight, because we said that it didn't really get physical. This is the beginning stages of something. Like, this could have been having to deal with sex because we're talking about a physical pregnancy or abortion. It's something that happened on an early Saturday, or what felt like an early Saturday. But what I'm gauging here is the police thought that they were going to maybe see more than what they were going to see, and by the time they arrived, nothing happened. Right? It was just kind of like a tease. And it was genius, because in actuality people were just pissy. The cops didn't need to be involved, And I'm not getting bladder like anyone had to really use the bathroom. It was just that people were acting pissy. People were just upset because they're letting the sick parts of themselves, the unhealed versions of themselves, the toxic versions of themselves, that we talked about, the toxic masculinity and the toxic femininity, they're letting that rule them. And it's not only causing sickness and harm to themselves, it's causing sickness and harm to the people that are around them. Why? Because now they have to go into this people-pleasing mode while still being in this energy of not knowing how to transition to be better. What is people-pleasing? Low vibrational. It's low vibrational, but it's a divine fated occurrence. Now you have to. That's the recompense. So you have to lower yourself to serve in a way that was unnecessary if you were aligned with your highest self. Okay? But I guess there's some kind of reconciliation that is imminent, because this is a divine fated occurrence. Someone needed to be catapulted, jolted out of this karmic cycle to, I guess, be the visual aid to everyone else that's around them to not do what they're doing. To learn from their own mistakes so that it doesn't blow up in their face with an angelic energy. Right? Because what happens when you mess with one of God's own? Yeah. You can think of it as the flood. You could think of the locusts. You can think of it as the burning pits of hell. You can think of it as any story that the Bible has told you about really scary things. That's what the angelic realm does, or the ethereal realm does, to those that are in angel energy. Okay? So, I know this person is feeling it. Why? Because whatever one of their signs that was in this toxic Capricorn energy only had other, ulterior motives on their mind. Not healing, grace, evolving, but maybe getting some booty. I'm seeing some lustful energy, because we get the bathroom, the master bathroom too. Where's the master bathroom? Usually in the master bedroom. Who's in there? The head of the household with the other head of the household, or the significant other to the head of the household. I don't know how your household do it, but it could be any of those. So maybe there's a Venus in Capricorn, or a highly aspected sign of someone is in Capricorn. Maybe your sign is Capricorn. Maybe you're just sitting in that toxic energy because you know a lot of Capricorns around you. You've learned from them how they act, and so you're emulating that even though you don't have any of the signs. No problem, except for all of this catastrophe that you are forcing this angel energy to be a part of. And yes, it's a divine fated occurrence. This angel has signed up for energy like this, but this is a karmic pattern. It seems like a cycle and the last of many. So I'm giving my, you know, praise and appreciation to this energy who has to sit in a karmic light because of what the divine is forcing this energy to be a part of. So props to you for, you know, keeping your head held high through all of this. But there is some cleansing that needs to happen on both parties' point. This person party, this energy, this Taurus energy, they need to cleanse. They need to have this releasing ritual in order to receive this abundance and prosperity, this celebration and joy. But this reverse Capricorn energy needs to understand that his soul mission in life might be to be the best, but the side missions in life could be what's stopping him from being his best. And yes, it could be a girl being her best, because we said that it's both toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. Okay? So, on that note, I think I'm just gonna ask the divine, is there anything else we need to know here? Any hints? Anything? No, we just needed people to be aware of the chaos that is bubbling up, or has bubbled up, will bubble up, depending on what time you watch or view this this reading. And I say watch because sometimes people just watch it for information, to see how people are maneuvering through, you know, see people's skill set or whatever. And then there's others who are really viewing. I'm sorry, I apologize. Stop saying I'm sorry. I'm not. Not at this vibration. But to view it is to see it in a critiquing way, not to offer your critique, but to see how you can embellish your own, critiquing your own work with seeing how other people do things. Or you can be a watcher where you're seeing how this applies to your life and letting it fuel you to make some kind of change, either in your perspective, your emotions, how you're showing up in the world, or how you're viewing other people in the world. Okay? Yep, and on that note, I believe we're done. So I will see you soon. Until the next.